G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome back to Monday Musings, the show where I ramble for a little while and occasionally you guys get something out of it. So, it's actually Saturday the 9th of March here today, not Monday, but I wanted to record this video while the epiphany is in the year. The thoughts that I've had are still somewhat fresh in my mind so that maybe my ramblings today can be a little bit more coherent than they usually are. The footage I have for you in the background today is I don't really even know. I imagine it's some sort of Path of Exile, possibly leveling my Cleave Templar in the 1 week race. But you know, it'll be a surprise for both of us. So the topic I wanted to talk to you guys about today is how to bounce back from crashing. So when you're doing something, even if it's something you're really passionate about, and you just sort of burn out, like you really can't do anything more and you go into hibernation mode. What I want to focus on is, you know, that idea and what causes that, you know, and, you know, whether that's okay for that to happen, and then how to actually pull yourself back out of that, because this is something I experienced this past week. So in the past, I've been very firm on myself, telling myself that, you know, I'm doing something that I love, that I'm extremely passionate about, and it's awesome. You know, I play video games, I research video games, I make videos about video games, and I do YouTube for a living. That's what I do. That is like, that is awesome. I'm super passionate about that, and it is an awesome thing to be doing. So I don't really deserve to ever feel like I'm burnt out, or to ever crash, or to, you know, ever have a day where I just feel like I can't do any work. Now, I was telling myself that, and maybe you're thinking, you know, well, that's not right. I think everyone can get burnt out from everything, but that's something I didn't believe to be true. However, I've been doing a fair bit of thinking about it since I sort of had a bit of a crash earlier this week. Maybe if you guys have been, you know, following my channel fairly closely, you might have noticed that videos were a little bit sketchy around mid last week. Especially I think one day I didn't even upload anything, which is pretty bad for me because I usually try to upload at least 2 videos a day, or you know, at least 1. But consistency, I feel, is very important on YouTube. And you know, as I said, I don't want to ever feel like I didn't ever want to feel like I was crashing. Like, you know, I didn't deserve it. I'm doing something awesome. So there's that idea. But I feel like now, like after thinking about it a lot, that I think you can get burnt out doing anything. You know, thinking back to the past, you know, I've played video games that I really love playing. Let's say like Final Fantasy VII back in the day on the PlayStation. I loved that video game. I played hundreds of hours into that. But I would still have days where I just got so burnt out from playing it. You know, I'd stay up all night playing it or something like that. And you know what, I'd feel burnt out after that, and you know, I'd have to take a few days break. So it can happen to anything, even something you're really, really passionate about. You know, you're trying to make a business, you're working, you know, 90 hours plus a week, really trying to make it work. You know, like what I'm doing with YouTube. Man, it's like super hot here. And you can still get burnt out just from working so hard on it, and you know, having so much mental focus on something. And you know, it happens to work that's less enjoyable, things that you're less passionate about, but it can also happen to something that, you know, you work a lot harder on as well, even if you are passionate about. So I think it's okay to crash and get burnt out, but the main thing is, you know, how you bounce back from it, and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys a bit about today. I guess it's sort of a guide, but mostly just my experiences with this. So how do you pull yourself back up from, you know, from crashing, from burning out? Well, I think the first point is that you've burnt out or you've crashed because you needed a break. You know, you have to take breaks. I don't take the weekends, and I don't take, you know, the evenings or the nights off because I really love what I'm doing and I want to do it, you know, all the time. But I think you have to if you want to avoid it in the first place, maybe, you know, forcing yourself to take some breaks and to do some other things, to go for a walk, you know, do a bit of exercise, you know, go out to the movies or something. That's like a big one for me. I only ever really chill out when I'm watching a movie or something like that, because that's anything else that I'm doing, I'm usually thinking about work, thinking about YouTube, thinking about the next video I can make. Only when I'm watching a movie do I feel like I'm really chilling out. But that's something I need to work on. I need to be able to, you know, figure out ways to make myself able to take a break from my work. But that's like a personal development thing for me, and I'm sure it's something that you guys will encounter as well if you ever get something you're really passionate about. So you have to take those breaks, and crashing out is like the sum total of not taking a break for a long time. You know, I'd work more than full time, you know, as I said, like 90 hours a week more, or more for multiple weeks in a row. And I guess it was sort of coming to that point where I would crash down. So mid last week, I started watching Dexter. Now I could blame Dexter. I could externalize this, you know, the fact that I barely did any work over three or so days. I could blame that on, you know, three seasons of Dexter. Dexter's an awesome show. It got me too absorbed I couldn't do any work. But in reality, the fault isn't mine. I worked myself into this point where I was ready to crash. And Dexter, as I said, like with movies, with a really good TV show, I'm the same. I can sort of, it's an escape. It's something that allows me to escape from, the work I'm doing without thinking about it. And of course, I felt guilty that I wasn't doing any videos and stuff like that, but I just couldn't. I had to basically finish 3 seasons of Dexter in 3 days. So that's pretty average, but I guess it was coming. It was something that had to happen, really. And I've learned an important lesson from it as well. So how do you end this crash out period? So once you've had this crash period, it's important, I think, just to embrace it and actually give yourself a break. Recognize, I really don't feel like I can do any work. I probably need to take a break. So I just said, well, I'm going to just watch all the Dexter. I'm going to watch all 3 seasons of Dexter over these 3 days. We're going to eat some noodles, go get some Singapore noodles, and I'm just going to try and chill out. And, I even played some other games that have nothing to do with what I normally do. Like I played The Witcher a little bit and stuff like that. So embrace it and have that actual break. But then plan yourself a bounce back point. So how do you do that? Decide the last day. So the last day for me was when I finished Dexter, and it was like Thursday. And I said, okay, in order to be able to bounce back tomorrow, I need to get back to being a healthy person, get back to being a driven person. What is my schedule that would be, encourage that to happen? So I said, the first thing I need to do is go to bed early. So I planned, I'm going to go to bed at 11 o'clock after I finished the last episode of Dexter. Now I ended up going to sleep at 1 a.m., but that sort of thing happens. You have that goal at least. So I went to sleep at 1 p.m., but that was much better than like 4 a.m. like I was doing the days before it, So I went to bed at 1 a.m. and tried to wake up early. My goal was like, I'll wake up at like 8 or 9 a.m. I think I ended up getting up at like 10:30, so not too bad, but much better than what I had been doing, waking up in the afternoon sort of thing. So, go to bed early, wake up early. That's like getting yourself back in the successful frame of mind. Then have a good breakfast, eat some good food, like treat your body. Like usually fruit for me is something that makes me feel really motivated. If I have a fruit breakfast, I feel really energetic, and that's actually like a physical thing as well, because the sugar from fruits, the natural sugars, can be absorbed by the body really quickly. So it's like a great way to kickstart the day basically. And then do some like exercise and stuff. I only usually doing pretty light exercise these days, but you could go to the gym or go for a walk or go for a cycle, things like that. I just did some old stretches from back when I did a keto, and I did a little bit of floor exercise, did some push-ups, some crunches, stuff like that. Get the blood flowing, get your brain working, get the oxygen happening, getting yourself back into, you've had these multiple small successes. I went to bed earlier, got up earlier, had a healthy breakfast, and did some exercise. I feel like a successful person. And that's I think that's the key to really getting yourself to bounce back, is to get back into the frame of mind of being a successful person. All right, I've had my break, time to bounce back. And then, once you're back in that state of mind, try and do something small, whatever it is, the thing that you're trying to bounce back to. So for me, making a video, I went back and I made a news video. There was some news for Path of Exile, so I made a news video. That's a fairly easy video for me to make compared to like a guide, which, the first day back after multiple days and not really doing much, making like a big sort of guide could be feel like this insurmountable task. But so ease yourself back into it with some easier tasks, and then plan so that it doesn't happen so badly again. So I'm trying to think about now, how I can take breaks, how I can schedule my workload a bit more so that I'm not going to burn out again like that. It'll probably happen again. I feel like it's somewhat inevitable just because I love doing this so much, and I think I do push myself really hard to be really successful in this. And, that's something you have to do as well. Like, embrace that feeling. Yeah, if you're pushing really hard to be successful at something you love, that's not really a bad thing, but also, recognize your needs and things like that as well. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm back into it today. I made 2 videos yesterday, and this is the second video I made today, and I'm probably going to make a few more today. I feel like I'm becoming a successful person again, getting back into it, so that's pretty exciting. Anyway, hopefully you guys have found this musings helpful, and maybe if you've got that passion project and you're in a bit of a lull yourself, you have a bit of a plan now of how to actually bounce back into it. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.